Maybe they ain't never gonna find me. I'm a renegade. I could be the one who saved you from death.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new video, or welcome if you're new here today. I'm Karrie, and today I'm gonna be tackling a project in my kitchen. So, I have actually been wanting to do this for quite some time, but it's just been one of those projects that have been put off, and it's now time to tackle the kitchen island. So, we're gonna kind of rewind back about 2.5 years ago, actually almost 3 years at this point, whenever we built the kitchen island. We used 2 unfinished cabinets, kind of built around them. It built a countertop, and we did this because we were on a super tight budget. We wanted a kitchen island to give us more counter space to work with, and while this island has functioned beautifully over the past couple years, it is just in rough shape and it needs a little facelift. So that's what I'm gonna be working on today. Really fast, I did want to take a moment and kind of just explain what the, sorry, there's something in the air, what the game plan is. So, I don't plan on completely demoing the entire island. I want to obviously keep what I can to salvage it, because why waste it and spend more money when I don't have to? So the goal is to rip off this side here on both sides. I have to take off the drawer fronts and sand those down because we have done layers and layers of paint at this point. Well, I have done layers and layers of paint, so it needs to be, you know, done better. But so the first plan is going to be to remove this wood here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this off, this bead board. The reason why is because we use liquid nails. And when I tell you we use liquid nails, I'm not joking, like we use a lot. So I may have to just cover this up with the new panel boards that I purchased from Lowe's. And I'll explain those in just a second. So initially my game plan is just to take off this X here and kind of just see what I have, what damage I have to go from there. I will be redoing the kitchen island top as well. I have a DIY project plan for that that I have never done before. So I'm gonna be your guinea pig. We're gonna test her out. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out, I will just rip this off completely and start over, because this wood is in rough shape and I never sealed it as best as I probably should have for a countertop. So yeah, that needs to be redone as well. But first off, we're gonna start by ripping these off. To do. Okay, so clearly these pieces of wood are not coming off. Like, no matter how hard I try, I can't get them to come off. So my only other option, without damaging this even more, is just gonna be to put this here like this. And then I'll do a piece of trim along the side here and along the bottom. And I think that'll be fun. I think that'll work. So That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know what else to do. Because this is on there so good, like I'm damaging it so much, and I know that when I get around to the other side, it's gonna be even worse because we used even more wood glue on that side. So the new game plan is I'm actually just going to put these back in place so that way this has something to like lean on. And I know this is not the way I would recommend this, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. And this is one of those scenarios. So right here, I'm just adding those boards that I ripped off right back up. Luckily, there were still some nails there, so I just kind of hammered them back in place. And these are just gonna be for the background, so that way behind that panel, it's not hollow. So that's why I added them back. 40 and a half, basically. 40 and a half. Yeah. So 40 and a half. I'm going to find the center of this. So that's 48. So 2 foot would be the center. So this would be center. This wainscot panel board is $19.98 at Lowe's. It comes in a 32 by 48 inch panel, so it's not very big, but what's nice is that it's already done. So you literally just have to nail it up on the wall, and this would be a great option for someone who is just getting started with DIY but really wants some detail work on their, wall. I totally get how intimidating it can be, so this is a great option. I'll be sure to link this below. Right here, I am just creating a guide using some clamps. That way when I use my skill saw, I'll have a straight line to follow. This just makes it a lot easier, especially once again, if you're a beginner, it helps. And believe it or not, out of all the tools I've used, out of all of them, the skill saw is probably the one I'm most terrified of. Sometimes they can like kind of snag and jump, and you just want to make sure you hold on to that bad boy. That's all I can say. Be very careful, watch your fingers, and take your time. So I cut off the sides to make the center, and I'm actually going to bring this all the way up to the top like this, make sure it's even, and then I will be putting this trim board down here at the bottom like so. So it's going to look a lot thicker down here. I see you doing it. I see it. I see it. I got both panels on each side. As you can see, I think I mentioned this already, but they are lifted up because I plan on putting trim along the entire edge all the way around. But I have to run to Lowe's because I need to get some like corner trim for the edge, and I also need to get something to go here to fix this that I just messed up. And I have to fix the inside here because we never finished this off. So I need to cut my bead board that I bought for the inside of this because I actually love the bead board being in here. I think it's really pretty. It's a nice detail. Now I need to try to figure out what I'm going to do to the sides. I'm just kind of winging it, one little step at a time. Just taking a quick moment to point out how cute my dog is. She's adorable. Okay, so there's different types of corners. So I'm actually getting these. They're just like unfinished. I'm gonna be painting anyway, so that's what I'm gonna buy. And now I need to find like a 4-inch wide board. So this is the hard part, because I need something that's like this but not that wide. It only needs to be like 4 inches. Oh, jeez Louise, I'm about to fall. Okay, I'm back. So now I'm gonna take this board here that I got, and I'm actually gonna be putting it here to like fix all this up now that I broke it. So I'm gonna measure out from here down to the bottom, figure out what my length is, take it outside and cut it real quick. After cutting the wide board that's going to go along the back side of the island, I'm now going ahead and cutting the 45-degree angles for the trim that's going to go around the sides and the front of the kitchen island. So it's going to be like on the kickboard spot. So I wanted everything to kind of be flush, and for some reason I did not film myself nailing the front trim on, but it's nailed, just so you guys know. But here I am just cutting the 45s and measuring that out. And by the way, just so you know, I definitely have my issues with 45-degree angles. What I like to do is I always give myself a little wiggle room. I cut, I go inside, I check it, and then I always make sure to give myself at least 2 inches. That way, God forbid I accidentally cut a little bit too much, I have a little bit of wiggle room to make a new cut. All right, so here on the inside of the island where the bar stools go, I needed to finish this off. This is one of those things that we never finish. So for the past 3 years, it has been unfinished. I know, I hide it really well, huh? But I took this bead board, cut it down to fit, and then I'm going to be putting that in place so that way the inside's finished as well. I'm trying to, finish my projects and fix up the ones that I made mistakes on along the way.
Scared baby.
Good morning. It is a brand new day. I worked on the island yesterday. I got all the bottom parts done. So now I just need to paint. And right now I'm prepping to paint. I got the cabinet doors taken off, and I'm gonna actually just paint them up here on the kitchen island since I'm redoing this anyway. So I'm gonna get all that set up, but before I do that, I do need to hit them with the sander, the door fronts a little bit, to kind of get some of this caked on paint off of there. So I'm gonna run outside, do that, and I've been kind of taping off everything at the moment, just trying to get things prepped. I did buy some of this really inexpensive paper to lay out around the floor. So I'm just gonna kind of get my space prep work done. That is so much, that was a mouthful. Anyway, I'm gonna prep to paint and then we'll get started. I'm really excited. The color is like a super deep dark green. It almost looks black, which I like because it's gonna look really dark, but then yet still have that green tone to it to kind of play off nicely with the new curtains I got. So I think it's gonna be a good color. But like I said, I gotta get outside and I gotta try to sand down these cabinets just a hair to kind of rough them up a bit since there's so many layers of paint, and kind of smooth them out. And then we'll start painting. Okay, so for the cabinets, I am just roughly going to sand them down, get rid of like any of the really bad chunky paint areas that I left the last time I just spilled my plate of food, you guys. You know why I do that? Because I talk with my hands. If y'all could like see behind the scenes, my hands are just moving the whole time I'm talking. All right, so back to the whole sanding process here. What I did was I used the Craftsman sander first, and I sanded everything down really well, trying to get a lot of that green paint off, because honestly, that was the bad parts of the cabinets. Whenever I painted the green, I did a quick paint job. I didn't do a great job. There was a lot of paint runs. You could see the brush strokes. So I tried to sand most of that off. And then what I did was I went in with one of those little square block sanders that you can do by hand. And by hand, I sanded everything down to get a super smooth, buttery, soft finish. That way when I went in with the new paint, it was going to look like a professional finish and it wasn't going to look like hand painted with a paintbrush. And then now I'm back inside. I got my paint ready and I am painting all of the outer edges first, all the areas that need to be kind of cut in, and then I'll go in with a foam roller. The roller gives a very, very smooth finish on the kitchen, or any surface, honestly. I highly recommend using a foam roller for like cabinetry, especially if you're looking for a professional look. The color I chose was called Shade Grown by Sherwin Williams, and I wanted to quickly tell you how this color came about. So I actually found it by accident. I was looking for colors for my sister-in-law for her kitchen, because she's doing a whole makeover in her kitchen currently. And I fell in love with this photo, but she didn't link or list her paint color. So what I did was I took a screenshot of it and Lynn searched it, and this color started popping up. Well, the more I researched it, the more I fell in love with it, and I knew this would be the most perfect green for the kitchen island. I like that it has that gray undertone. So that way, when you walk through the front door, it's not like boom, green in your face. It looks dark gray, almost black, but whenever you get in the kitchen, you start to kind of get comfortable at home and the lights come on. It has that really warm green that just makes me feel good. I just love the way it looks. So that's how the color came about. And I did choose a satin finish for the kitchen island. First coat on this side, first coat on the top, and first coat over here on this side. Now I'm going to start working on the little cubby right here, and then I will kind of work my way back around and do another coat. I need to start on the cabinets as well, like the cabinet doors. So yeah, she's a work in progress. Alright, so I just turned on the camera to start painting these other cabinets over here, and I wanted to point out, you can see how smooth the finish is with that first coat of paint already. So what I like to do for cabinet doors is I start with all the edges first with the paintbrush, and then I go in with the foam roller to smooth all those edges out. I also wanted to point out that I am painting these cabinet doors on canned goods. So I just take out some like green beans, mixed vegetables, I lay them out on the counter, and then I just set the cabinet door on top. That way I can get on the edges really well without having it like sitting flat on the counter and then having like globs of paint kind of sticking to the side. So this just gives you, you know, a little bit more clearance around the edges and stuff.
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by, life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. I feel so alive. As I reach out to the sky.
Alright, so quick update on the kitchen island. So I have second coat on, but I still have a few areas I'll have to touch up, of course. Sometimes like when you push in the roller too hard, it kind of picks up too much paint. So I got to do a second coat, but I want this to fully cure and dry before I do that. So in just a moment, when the cabinets are dry enough to touch, or the doors, I'll put those on, do a few touch-ups here and there, and then show you guys the before and after of how it's looking so far. I am so excited. I love it. As far as the kitchen island top though goes, I'm not going to be able to finish that this week like I thought I was going to. I had every intention on having this project done by today, editing by tomorrow. It's just not happening. I have so much going on. Tomorrow's a free day, but today I really need to focus on getting our laundry folded and put away. Everything's washed, it's just piled up in baskets, so I need to get that done. I need to start editing this footage here so I can have a video up this week, because I have no other videos. I've been working on this for the past 3 days and I haven't filmed anything else. So yeah, that's where I'm at, in case you were wondering. But I do love it. It's coming together really nicely and I love the color too. I cannot wait to get the top done. I think that's just really gonna make everything pop and just look so nice and crisp. But you know, it's just one of those things. Home projects just take time and they make a mess. I make a mess. I'm blaming it on the project though.
I found my way. I found my way. I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the thick, 'cause I found my way. I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay, 'cause I found my way.
Alright, it's time for the before and afters now, and what I want you guys to kind of focus on a little bit is more of like the roughness of the kitchen island, not so much the paint. I knew the paint was messed up because I was testing out paint colors and stuff, but I want you to pay attention to like the edges and the way that the seams line up and the knots in the wood and things that make this that made this whole kitchen island look kind of cheap. Well, it looks cheaply done, honestly, because it was. This was a first time DIYer's project. It just, you know, it's one of those things, but here's how it looks now. So as you can see, it's a lot more clean and crisp. It looks a lot more professionally done. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it. I'm so happy I got this done. It was way overdue. With the paint chipping and all that, and now the paint job is done the right way, so it'll last a lot longer and should hold up much better. I wanted to point out one more thing. The handles, the original handles, I broke a few of them. The screws were really stripped out when I was trying to get them out, and I like snapped a few. So I have to get a few replacements, but I'm also considering changing the hardware out and really just changing the whole space. But look at how smooth the front cabinet doors are. Oh, I love it so much. I mean, there's still a little bit of imperfections. I mean, heck, these cabinets are 3 years old. They're going to get some love and wear and tear, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching me just do a quick refresh on the kitchen island. Stay tuned for the countertop DIY. If you have any suggestions as far as colors go or what you think I should do, what I shouldn't do, feel free to leave it in the comments now so I have time to read it before I start that project. But thank you again for being here. As always, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.